not kidding when he says that the high-altitude performance of the P-47 depends on that turbo packing air into the carburetor. The turbo does for the 47 what the pilot's oxygen system does for the pilot. Keeps the ship flying high at fighting efficiency. The turbo in your 47 is simple in operation, much simpler than Jimmy. The actual compressing of air is done back here in the rotor. Exhaust gases turn the bucket wheel, which drives the impeller of the compressor. The waste gates in the exhaust system control the speed of the rotor by opening and closing, and thus directing more or less gas against the bucket wheel. The waste gates are operated by a regulator. The regulator, in turn, is controlled by the pilot when he changes the control setting on the quadrant. When you establish a control setting, the regulator will automatically operate the waste gates to maintain manifold pressure. As you increase altitude and decreased atmospheric pressure causes engine power to drop off, the waste gates gradually close. More exhaust gas is directed against the bucket wheel to make it rotate faster and compress more air. Now another indicator becomes important, the turbo overspeed warning light. When your P-47 nears its critical altitude, the rotor will reach about 18,000 RPM, and this light will blink. When the light stays on steadily, you have reached the maximum allowable speed of the turbo under normal conditions, 18,250 RPM. Anything that moves has a speed or stress limit. And that goes for the wheel and impeller of the turbo. They're not dying to hold up long at speeds over 18,250 RPM. The blinking light is a warning. The steady light means you've reached the critical speed of the turbo. Above critical altitude, you reduce manifold pressure to keep the warning light blinking while you continue to climb. Now, let's watch the controls in relation to a climb. The turbo light begins to flicker. Turbo speed is increasing. When turbo speed reaches 18,250 RPM, the light comes on steady. The pilot reduces power to the point at which the light flickers. He keeps reducing power as may be necessary to keep the light flickering throughout his climb. That's all he has to remember. Keep that light blinking. In P-47 D5s and subsequent models, the water injection system gives war emergency power for limited periods, increasing horsepower and rate of climb beyond military power limits. With water injection, you'll build up approximately 56 inches of manifold pressure and develop 2,300 horsepower. Water injection will increase your speed about 20 miles an hour. Say water injection for emergency. Think of it just the way you do your guns. When you start aerobatics in the P-47, remember when you were taking a trainer through these same maneuvers. The P-47 is a bigger, faster, and heavier ship. But you put a 47 through its paces just about as you did your AT-6. There are exceptions, of course, and they're important. In the 47, you avoid inverted flight, except for the few seconds necessary to perform a